Alrighty, can you guys see the presentation?
Yes, Cindy.
Okay, awesome. Make sure. Oops. Alrighty. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cindy Parrott. I am the Education Service Specialist for the JBLM 88th RD site. Today, we're going to be going over Credentialing Assistance Program. If you have any question at any time during the presentation, please let me know. That way I can go ahead and address it. If you'd like to send me a message later on after the briefing, if you don't want to interrupt or if you don't want to ask it during this time, that's fine too. All right, so the Army Credentialing Assistance Program is a new program that the Army has just released, I want to say about last year. First, they did it in phases, and now it's Army-wide program that you can use on top of, in the same as tuition assistance. Sorry, just having a brain fart today. So today's agenda, we're going to go over what the CA program is, what type of benefits we have as far as for soldiers, how you can find out your eligibility. We're also going to go over Army Credentialing Opportunity Online, cool, Army cool. We're going to go through the application process, and to end it all up, I'm going to go ahead and also have a live demonstration for the Army cool, the application process, and how you go about submitting your request through Go Army Ed. So disclaimer right now, the live demonstration, we're going to be using a dummy account, so the information that you're going to see there is just made up. So this isn't a real soldier's account, so just FYI, okay? So the Army Credentialing Assistance Program was created to support the soldiers' professional development. So what we found for a long time is that, especially more recently, I want to say in the past 6-7 years now, that soldiers are looking more support and assistance for payment towards a credential rather than a higher education. So what we've found is that soldiers are coming in and asking assistance to pay for, let's say, Lean Six Sigma, project management, things like that. And unfortunately, because of how the regs is written, we can't really use tuition assistance funding for those types of credentialing. So what happened was they went ahead and did a test site, a test of how well this program was going to be received and whether or not there's going to be a lot of interest in it. And what they found was, yes, there is a lot of interest in it, and there's a lot of soldiers that are looking for credentialing rather than towards tuition assistance. So most of the soldiers that do go through credentialing assistance already have their degree, or if not, they already are in their career, and that in order for them to professionally get promoted or looked at for development, things like that, they needed additional credentials, certification licenses, things like that. So the credentialing assistance was created to support that need that the soldier had. So as you can see here, the Army CA program does provide funding for voluntary off-duty courses and, or if you need it, exams leading to either an academic or vocational credential. Most of these credentials you will find in the Army Cool website, which again, we will go over shortly here and as well as during the live demonstration. So what is a credential? A lot of people ask that question. For the most part, it is licenses and certification. So if you are going for your, let's say, your studies to become a teacher, having a degree is just one part of being a teacher, okay, or becoming a teacher. You also need to take tests for, I can't think of the top of my head, but it's for certification. It's to get licensed as a teacher, basically. So there's, depends on your state. I know here in Washington, there's 2 tests that you have to take in order for them to give you your license as a teacher or be able to teach in this state. So those 2 particular credentials are the ones that would qualify for the CA program. If you are going to be, let's say, working on airplanes, things like that, they do have their own certification. Again, if you're going for your business or you are working in the business world and you need a human resources certificate or licenses, that's another thing. If you are a social worker and you need to do your social work credentials, that's another thing. So it's a whole lot of different programs and licenses and certification that this covers that the TA does not. Do we have a question about this information right now? Okay. Next slide. So what are the benefits? Again, progression. So promotion, schooling opportunities, things like that. I know that as you get promoted up to higher levels, obviously there's some requirements on your part for professional development. I guess I need to slow down. There's also that career competitiveness, so that when you are applying for a new position in the civilian sector, you do want to have that edge against somebody else who is applying for the same position. So if you have that credential versus the other individual who does not have it, you look better when it comes to candidates wise. A lot of people they don't like going to school because school is not for them. You know, they'd rather go through and get their certificate because it's less time. You don't have to be there whole entire time. You can take, let's say the class for PMI might be 16 weeks long. Once you complete that, you're done. You know, you can go ahead and schedule for your examination and get your PMI certificate. Also, again, professional and personal development. Soldier eligibility. So the main thing with the Credentialing Assistance Program is, just as your tuition assistance, you do have to be eligible to use it. So one of the things is that you have to have an active GoArmyEd account. If you don't have that, during the live demonstration, I'll show you how to access the GoArmyEd website so that you can create your own GoArmyEd account. You have to meet the basic tuition assistance eligibility. So again, if you have never used tuition assistance, all you have to do is complete AIT, can't be flagged, things like that, in order to qualify for the CA. The credential that you want to pursue, it has to be listed in the Army Cool website. If it's not listed in there, unfortunately, we can't use it right now, but there is a lot of credentials in that website that you can choose from. You can use any training provider that you can find. So if there's one that's local to you, but I'm not familiar with that particular training provider, just let them know to contact the Education Service Office, and we can go ahead and provide them the information on how they can apply to become an approved training provider so that you can start taking the credentials with that provider. Okay. It says right here that you do have to, just like TA, you have to complete your credentialing class or your exams before you separate from the military. This is no exceptions to this, okay? The main thing is that this is while you're in service kind of benefits. Okay, so how do you verify the credential eligibility? Again, the Army Cool website is the best site to go ahead and review the information. Okay, you can go ahead and do it by your MOS if you want to do it that way, or you can do just a full credential search, as you can see here at the bottom. So if you don't want to go for a credential that's connected to your MOS, you can just go ahead and search right here. So another thing that we would like for you to take a look at while you're looking at the training provider or credentialing agency. I know there's a lot of out there that does a lot of promotion, cheaper, less time, so on and so forth. The main thing that you have to do with the CA, unlike the tuition assistance program, is that you do have to do a lot of homework on your end, okay? You have to research the training provider. You have to research the credential that you're going to pursue. You have to research what the costs are, if there's additional books, fees on top of that, so on and so forth. There is a lot of things that you need to do on your end in order for us to be able to proceed with the CA request. So one of the things that we have that has been created for you is a training provider question kind of sheet. So if you look right here, it has everything from your provider information, the physical address. If it's an online class, obviously just put their physical address because that is needed for billing. If you decide to go to that school, location of the course or exam, it tells you right there, course number, things like that. So like tuition assistance, okay, just a little bit more in depth, because as you can see here where it says required books, the title, the cost, the ISBN. So those are some of the things that you're going to need to have on hand before you even put in your application. That way, when you're sitting down completing the application process, you're not scrambling to find the information. You already have it on a piece of paper. So if you're doing a research, it's also a great way for you to kind of compare and contrast the different vendors that are available, how long it is, how much it is, and things like that, okay? All these documents that I'm going to show you, as well as the application, I'll have that available after this. The application, I highly suggest that you just use as a reference, because the updated ones, they do upload through GoArmyEd. So the application process, you do have to verify your eligibility. Again, you have to make sure you have a GoArmyEd account. I'll go here shortly on how you can verify whether or not you have CA for the fiscal year. Because CA and TA are connected, that means they're also going by the fiscal year money limit. So at this time, the fiscal year limit for tuition assistance is about $4,000 per fiscal year. So if you've used any of that this fiscal year for any classes, you'll have to subtract what you've used to what you actually have for CA use. So if you've used $600, you only have $3,400 towards your CA program. You also can open a new CA application in GoArmyEd. I actually want to flip this. I should have flipped this, but the second thing you should do is contact your training provider before you open a new CA application in GoArmyEd, okay? Once you contact the provider, you have all the information, then go ahead and download the application, complete it, and then upload it in GoArmyEd through Help Desk. Again, I'm going to go through that here and during the live demonstration so you know how to access that in your GoArmyEd account. Now, once you submit it to us and once it's been escalated to CA program department, the education offices have no access, or they don't give us status updates on these, okay? So the best thing you can do is monitor your GoArmyEd account to make sure that you have the up-to-date information. Unfortunately, if they add notes in there, we don't get pinged on it. Basically, we don't get a status notification saying, hey, so-and-so is working on this, or hey, so-and-so closed your account, so on and so forth. So just be careful with that, okay? All right. So to verify your account eligibility, once you log into GoArmyEd, you're going to see all these buttons. You're going to click on My Education Record. And once you're in there, you're going to take a look at your current degree plan, your homeschool, and in the Education tab, you have to make sure you're not on hold. If you are, you need to go ahead and take care of that, okay? Because that's going to go ahead, that's going to actually prevent you from moving forward with your CA request. So if you are on hold, make sure that you fix that before you go ahead with the whole process. So if you have to contact your Servicing Education Center, please do so. So right here where it says basic information, you can see where it says Servicing Education Center. That would be who you contact if you have any questions about your account or if you're on hold, okay? All right, so right here under Education tab, again, it actually shows you what you've used for the fiscal year as far as tuition assistance goes. So right here, if it says 0, that means you still have $4,000. If it says 500, then obviously you subtract that from $4,000, and that's what you have left over for your CA funding. If you don't have a GoArmyEd account, or you do have one but it's not fully activated, you're going to need to go ahead and click on Request TI Access. And then once you open up the VIA, it's going to ask you what kind of program you want. And you can select Credentialing Assistance. So this is how you do that under Search for Other Degree Programs Listed. And then you're going to click on type in the keyword Credentialing Pathways. And then you can click on the little radio button on the left to select that one. And then where it says search for other schools not listed, obviously because it is a credentialing program, there's a lot of school and training providers are technically not in GoArmyEd yet. So you will have to input that information manually. Okay. Oh, I think I went backwards. Okay. All right, so once you select the school and program, make sure you do Make My Selection. Okay. And this is how you submit the CA request. We're going to go back to your My Education page, and you're going to click on the Help Desk Cases. You're going to create a new Help Desk ticket. And from the Help Desk, you can either go through Help Desk resources or create a Help Desk case on your main page or through your My Education record. And from the drop-down menu, you're going to select Credentialing Request. And once you click on that one, it's going to open up this section right here. It's going to have the actual Statement of Understanding, which I'll show you a copy of that. And it's going to show you the application. So if there is an updated application, it should show up right there. And that's what you need to download and fill out, okay? So the application packet, again, we're going to go over this on the live demonstration, but this is just some of the information. So you're going to go ahead and select the credential on the drop-down list that you want to go for. And as you can see here, all of these yellow fields are required, and you have to make sure that you fill it all in, okay? If there is any information missing and there's still a yellow, I guess, a yellow field when you complete the application, this is going to get rejected, okay? So the main thing right here that I want to point out is the contact information where it says cell or work phone. Notice how they're both there, okay? A lot of people don't have a secondary number, and this application is not going to allow you to put the same phone number twice. So if you have your spouse's phone number, you could use that as your secondary number. It's just a way for the CA program to connect with you. So if they have any questions about your application or a question about the training provider, they need to be able to reach you. Otherwise, if they can't, they'll just go ahead and close that request and reject it, basically, okay? So if you don't want to go through the whole process again, I would just go ahead and make sure that every single field that has the required information added into it, that you go ahead and fill it out, okay? Once you fill it out and it's filled correctly, the box is going to turn green, or the border, I should say, will turn green, okay? If it doesn't, it will still have a little red border around it, and it won't, you have to fix it. So right here, select the preparation. What is it for? Okay, it's going to ask you what the cost is. So for every book, material, things like that that you need for this class, fill it in. There's, I want to say about 10, 15 lines that you can put that in there, the information in. So you can't bundle it all up. So if they tell you, oh, the books and materials is the total cost of $400, you need a breakdown of that cost, and the cost verification documents that you provide would need to reflect that too, the breakdown, okay? All right, so uploading your application and your supporting document. My favorite link is My Education Record. That will bring you to all the tabs, your help desk tab, your education tab, your e-file tab, so on and so forth, okay? So go back to your help desk, and again, you can go through the help desk through your main screen, but I find it a lot easier to just go through your My Education Record, because it brings you right to the actual help desk request form. So right here, again, you're going to select credential request from the drop-down menu. On the subject, just put in CA request and your description. Right in this example, it says, please process my CA request. You can add whatever information you have in there, as long as it has something written in that description. Otherwise, it's not going to let you submit anything. Okay. Now, for the actual documents and how to add it, you can click Add Notes, and you can actually go back and add and upload a document in your help desk ticket. Again, I'll go over that at the live demonstration because I ran out of screenshots to use. So here's the thing with the CA, okay? Just like the Army Tuition Assistance, the Credentialing Assistance Program does have a statement of understanding, and I highly suggest that you read it, all of it, because there's some nuances in there that you may read and have questions about, and that's why we're here, to answer those questions. So before you sign your life away, read it, please. And if you have any questions, contact the education office. Again, TA and CA are both coming out of the same pot of money. So you only have $4,000 every fiscal year to use. So you can either use TA or CA, whichever you want to use as far as for that fiscal year. So let's say, for instance, this fiscal year, you've already used most of your TA, okay? You can submit your CA for October, which is a new fiscal year, I want to say around August 20th. That I believe that's when they'll start opening that back up. Just contact us for more information if you need more information about that. But again, just remember, $4,000 for fiscal year, and that's between tuition assistance and CA. So either CA one fiscal year and then TA the next fiscal year, or You can split it between the two. This is the most important thing about this, is that a lot of soldiers, unlike tuition assistance, which you can turn in within 5 business days, the credentialing assistance application has to be in the system 30 business days before you start, before the start date. Now, 30 business days is the credentialing assistant program department deadline. So if you want us to turn it in before that deadline, be sure to send it well before 30 days. Okay, so if you need to send it 40 days before the start date, please do. That way we have time to go over it, review the information. If there's something missing in your application, we can work with it with you to fix it. Because if you turn it in right at 30 days and we're trying to call you and you're not responding to our emails or voicemail, it's going to be kind of hard for us to escalate it to the CA department and get that approved. And there's no guarantee at that point in time whether or not it's going to get approved. Okay, so if you want us to make sure that everything looks good on our end and your end, then we need to make sure that that request gets into our system, the education system, before 30 days is up. Okay, again, we are here to help, so send us emails. We are teleworking right now, so our phone is not, you can call it, but we won't have access to our voicemail until we return into office. Okay, does anybody have any questions at this time? Okay, so let me make sure. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the live demonstration. All right, so the first place I want to share with you is the Army Credentialing Assistant window. So give me a second. And here we are. All right. So if you go to cool.osd.mil, okay, it will bring you to the Army Credentialing Assistance Program website. Right here, you can take a look at some of the information about the Army Cool program, what type of credentialing and their potential costs, as well as their potential funding. So as you can see here, some of them you can actually use tuition assistance, credentialing assistance, and then you have GI Bill. So if you're looking at study materials, obviously GI Bill is not going to cover it, as you can see here. Membership fees, application fees, credentialing assistance does pay for it, but GI Bill doesn't. Okay, exam fees, again, GI Bill and credentialing assistance do pay for that. Continuing education units, Army TA program does not pay for CEUs, continuing education units. Okay, TA, in order to use tuition assistance funding, the courses does have to be credit based. So CEUs, you can use your credentialing assistance and your GI Bill. Recertification fees, credentialing assistance again is there. And obviously if your credential requires an exam, credentialing assistance and GI Bill will pay for those programs too. So credentialing assistance, if you click on this one, actually gives you some information on the process guide, how to apply for it, so on and so forth. You can also look at their frequently asked questions and things like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to find credentials, okay? So as it was like earlier in the presentation, you can either look at credential via your MOS. So I'm going to go ahead and look for, let's see, 948 Bravo. Next. So gives you some information about the actual MOS, okay? Feeder MOSs. And if you click on those, it would actually show you the same information as you're looking at right here, the MOS information, related credentials, related occupations, continuing education, and so on. So what I want to look at is the related credentials, and it will tell you right here what those are. Okay, so it tells you also whether or not they're CA eligibility or eligible, how easy it is to attain, okay, whether or not GI Bill uses it, or you could use your GI Bill to attain this particular one, and what type of accreditation is. So as you can see, when I hover over those icons, it gives you a description of what that means. So right here will tell you what the accreditation is for the CompTIA. So if you click on the little chili or hover above the chili icon, just tells you that this particular credential is in demand. And if you click on the actual CompTIA, it's going to give you a snapshot of what the requirements are, what the exam is, recertification process, and so on. Okay. So right here it gives you the contact information, how often you have to recertify, things like that. So let's take a look at the exam. So there's a written exam. Okay, tells you the areas of the subject areas of what is going to be covered in the exam. So if you want to go ahead and prep for it, you could take a look at what that particular subject area covers. Right here, you can take a look at exam prep. Gives you a little bit of a link to the CompTIA website, and gives you an information on the testing information. So you can either contact Pearson VUE. Also, if you're MOS, if it's MOS related, you can contact your military training office, and they can go ahead and give you some information. All right, so recertification, again, every 3 years. Okay, additional considerations. So you can take a look at all this information for all the different credentials that we have in Army Cool, if that's what you want to go to. So if you don't want to go the route of your MOS, right here where it says full credential search, you can actually go ahead and just look for all the credentials that are out there that are available. So I'm going to go ahead and let it work. Okay, wonderful. All right, so let's say I really want to be a financial counselor. So right here, the accredited financial counselor credential is available. CA, you can use CA money to pay for this, or if you already used up all your CA for this fiscal year, you can use your GI Bill. It is accredited by NCCA, and it is a certification. It looks like this particular credential is in-person only. They don't offer e-learning yet. If I click on that one, it actually, again, same information, minimum requirements. So we have to recertify every 2 years, contact information for the actual agency for this particular credential. Eligibility, so they're going to look at your experience. This is actually a very good example right here as far as credential goes, because some soldiers go for a particular credential without realizing that there is an experience requirement before you can even apply for it. So right here you can see that a candidate must have verified 1,000 hours as a financial counselor before they can even apply for this particular credential. They also have to have training or education requirements. So right here, it tells you what kind of training that they look for to meet this requirement. And additional requirements right here, you also have to follow. So you have to make sure that when you're looking at a credential, you have the requirements before you even apply for it. Because if you apply for it and it goes through the CA process and you try to apply for it with the vendor and they verify that you don't have the experience requirement, they're going to reject that. You're not going to be able to go in that class. You have to have those requirements. So experience requirement, it could be hours, it could be months in position, blah, blah, blah. It just depends on the wording. So the great thing about the Army Cool website is that it allows you to take a look at what those requirements are for the individual certification that you're looking at or credentials you're looking at. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I do have the 1,000 hours in financial counseling and I'm ready to go ahead and take the exam. So I have to make sure that in the written exam, I have studied or have experience in the following areas. Okay. So they have an exam prep, and one of the best things I can do is visit these links that they provide and read through it and make sure that I understand what it says, and then try to see if I can find kind of like a study exam, you know, like a PSAT for financial counselors. So kind of like a test prep for it. So if I look locally and there is a test prep for it, if I do decide to do it that route, I could go ahead and apply for it for the CA program to pay for the test prep program, and then do a separate application for the exam fees. All right, so if you were already certified with this and you just need recertification, the renewal period, again, like earlier, is 2 years. So every 2 years, you need to make sure that you get recertified. So if you're coming up on that recertification timeframe, you could go ahead and put in your credentialing assistance application so that it could be paid for. All right, so this is the Army Cool website. I know I kind of went over just a couple of the certification credentials and the function out of it, but what I would suggest to do is that if you have time, go ahead and play with it, okay? Because it goes through apprenticeships, it goes through manager credentials, Common Core credential. It has so many different credentials that you can go and look at and review. Sometimes it might be overwhelming. I didn't want to overwhelm you guys. I just wanted to go ahead and kind of go through the credential search and the MOS related credentials. That way, if that's what you're looking at, you know how to access it. But the other ones, the MOS Navigator, things like that, please feel free to peruse, okay? All right, so the next one I want to go over is this website right here. This one is has been created by INCOM. This is the Soldiers Credentialing Assistance Program website. It has information on the CA program. Obviously, the contact right here is for INCOM soldiers. I like using this because it has the application checklist right there. And it has the options. If you don't remember the website, it's right here. You can just click on that and it opens right up. It also has the link to Go Army Ed. And this right here will contact the active duty INCOM education office. But you know, if your Surfacing Education Center falls within them, obviously this is a way for you guys to go ahead and contact them. Resources document. Another thing I really like about this webpage is that they provide the checklist. they provide the approved vendor list. They have the questions to ask the vendors, which I'll show you here shortly. How to activate your GoArmy account, how to submit a help desk ticket. They even have the FAQs, the course start date calendars for 2020. And it also has the policies, the documents for it. So if you have any questions about the implementation guides and the credentialing assistance policy memo, it's all here. If you have a training provider that would like to, that's not on our approved list, but you'd like them to be added because that's where you want to go, you can give them the link. Go ahead and open that up in a new window, but they can send the completed application directly to the Credentialing Assistance Program through this website right here, or email address, I should say. So right here should be the CA request right here, the vendor application. Okay. And for vendors, they also have frequently asked questions, and it has our DoD guide on marketing, as well as our installation access policy. Some vendors would like to offer classes for units, and if that's the case, they do need to follow our installation access policy and complete an installation access request. There is a vendor training. So this is the credential application for vendors, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. We're not going to go over it too in depth, okay? I just want to make sure that you guys know that the vendors do have to go through the application process, and they do have to get vetted into the program before you can start using CA for them, okay? I can't tell you how long the application process is for the vendors. I want to say it all depends on how quick, what information they provide in the application, and how quickly the POC answers the question that the CA department asks and request documentation on, okay? Once they do get approved, they will be added into the approved vendors list. So the approved vendors list, they come out with the list every month, usually on the first of the month. They'll have that published and added into the approved vendor list. And as you can see here, the first tab will show you all the approved vendors that we have in the system. Okay, whether or not they're approved, their PLC, things like that, okay? If they're still under review, these are all the vendors that are still under review. So they have their application. The CA department is doing basically a review of it. All the requests for approval, they're all manually reviewed by the CA program. These are vendors that require further review before we can approve them, or they can be approved. These are vendors that are approved already in the Army Ignited website. So all the credentialing assistance requests will start to transfer to armyignited.com, okay? If you are requesting credentialing assistance after August 20th, you will have to create an armyignited.com website, which I'll show you how that looks like again in the live demonstration. But as of right now, if the class starts, within 30 days from now, send all requests through goarmy.com. All right. Were you guys able to see the Excel sheet? I did screen sharing, so I'm not sure if it just shares the Army Cool or if it shared the Excel sheets too. just in case. Just in case you guys didn't see it. This is the approved vendors list. Okay, pending review, further review, Army Ignited, and Army Ignited pending. All right, so let's see if I can show you the other one, the other windows, since I don't think you guys saw it. All right, this side. All right, so this is the Army, the IMCOM Credentialing Assistance website. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure if that went through, if you guys could see that. But resource documents, things like that is all right here. Okay. Resource documents, policies, and to become a training provider. All right. So let's see if you guys can see. All right, so I'm gonna show you the application. CA request. Okay, so the application checklist. This is the application checklist that I highly suggest that you have with you to make sure that you have all the documents required before you submit your credentialing assistance request through Go Army Ed. I'll have this particular checklist as a PDF form in the Teams after this briefing. That way you have that resource to download later. And now we will take a look at the Credentialing Assistance Statement of Understanding. Okay. So this right here, again, like I said in the briefing, please read through this before you sign it. Okay. In order for this particular SOU to be accepted, you do have to use your digital signature. It can't be printed and then physically signed. You do have to go ahead and use your digital signature in order for us to be able to use this and forward to the CA program department. So right here, you need to make sure that you sign, right click and then sign. Okay. Next one I want to show you is the actual application. Again, all these are going to be available in the MS Teams. One thing I want to say about the actual application is that please don't, you can use this as a reference, but please use the document that you get through the help desk when you create the help desk ticket, because that will be the most updated version you can use. If you submit one that's old application, odds are it's going to get returned to you or canceled. So you need to make sure you have the most updated form submitted. So right here, as you can see, I'll show you, let's say I want to do the financial counselor like I had there. So if your current credential is not listed in this drop-down menu, you can actually check that box, okay, and you can type it in. So that's part one. And then I go to part two. So right here, again, very important. There's 2 phone numbers required. You can't use the same phone number twice. So you need to make sure you have a friend, somebody, or your work number, or your spouse, whatever. A second phone number needs to be in this one, okay, in order for us to submit this. Reason why we ask for 2 phone numbers and 2 emails is because if sometimes it goes to the junk email for ones, or if you have your phone on silent, you don't get our voicemail right away, or if your phone is like mine, if it doesn't recognize a number that I've contacted before, it automatically goes to voicemail message, and then the contact information just shows unknown or spam risk, and it doesn't even ring on my end. I just get the verification that someone called after the phone call went through. So to bypass all that, they have 2 phone numbers and 2 emails to get a hold of you. Very important that you have those information in there, okay? So again, once you fill this out, it's gonna turn white and it's gonna have a green border around it, if you filled that out correctly. If you still see yellow or red border around it, that means it's incomplete and you need to make sure that you put the information in there. Otherwise, you can submit it to us, but it's going to get kicked back to you. And that's going to delay the process. Again, 30 days is a long time, but that's not a long time if you consider it that they have to manually approve everything. They have to verify everything with the vendors. And, just like a lot of the vendors nowadays, they're working from home. So a lot of emailing back and forth, that can take days. And the phone numbers, again, unless they provide their personal cell phone number in there, it's hard for the CA department to get a hold of them. So make sure that you give them the correct information and that you give them plenty of time to be able to do the verification before your class starts, okay? So right here where it says cost, again, you can go ahead and fill everything out right here. And as you can see, you can go line by line by line and tell us how many books you need, what kinds of materials you need, how much it is, where can we buy it. If they find the particular item at a different vendor and it's cheaper, they will go with the cheaper option, okay? They will contact you, let you know, hey, we found this at a cheaper site. This is where we're going to go ahead and pay for it, okay? They're going to try for the least costly option to do this. Now, if you have a credential that has a class and an exam, you do have to request the exam separately. So you need to put in one for your actual credentialing assistance classes, and then another help desk ticket and another application for your credentialing exam. That way they are able to go ahead and create a paper trail for that particular exam and also have that for you available when you're ready for it. All right, so this is the application. If you have any questions about the application, please let us know. We will be more than happy to go over it with you. Okay. All right, so let's see. I want to go to the live demonstration. All right, so if you don't have a GoArmyEd account and you want to go ahead and create one to use for credentialing assistance, this is a dummy website, but you would actually go to www.goarmyed.com, okay? And it won't have the little red banner right here. So this is a live account. And right here, you will click on create or reactivate account. You will be the student, okay? And you will it's going to ask you for your social security number, I believe, and your date of birth, okay? So let's pretend you've already created a GoArmyEd account. And I did. And I'm gonna log in. So we're gonna check your verification eligibility first. right. So right here usually tells you whether or not you have a fully activated account or one that's not fully activated. So if yours says TA eligible soldiers, that means it's activated. If yours says base role, that means you have an account, you don't have, it's not fully activated. So right here, we're going to click on My Education Record. And I know I clicked that one. Okay. I guess it doesn't like me today. Oh, there it goes. All right. So verify current degree plan, current homeschool, and servicing education center. Not sure what happened there. Oh boy, I closed that out. Alrighty, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay. I should close out all the other windows. That way I'm not. All right. So My Education Record. And we were verifying your homeschool degree plan and your servicing education center before I closed it out. Okay. There it goes. All right. So once it loads, and once you verified the homeschool, the degree plan, and your servicing education center, I usually like to click on the All tabs and just scroll down. This way I can see if any of the information needs updating. So address, phone number, email address, things like that. If any of those need to be updated, you can go all the way down to the bottom. You scroll all the way down here. And where it says account information, just click on that one and it's going to go ahead and have you update the information. So going back up, right here, I'm going to take a look, make sure that I am not on hold. Looks like I'm not on hold. All right, so it was deferred. I'm not on hold. I haven't used any of my TA, it looks like. Right here, current year spent, still 0. So as of right now, if I wanted to go for a credentialing assistance program that costs $4,000, I can do it. Okay. And additional information. So to create your credentialing assistance application, you do need to go ahead and click on the tab that says Help Desk Cases. Okay. You're going to create a new Help Desk ticket. And I'm not sure what happened there. I guess we have to click Help Desk Resources. All right. Where'd you go? There you go. Create a help desk case. Please do not opt it. Yep. Proceed. Okay. Member PII. Please don't add those in. So right here where it says, please select your case type. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of topics, but I'm going to choose credentialing request. Okay. And once it processes, as you can see, it refreshes with the statement of understanding and the most updated version of the credentialing assistance request form. So right here under subject, let's pretend that I've downloaded this and I went ahead and gathered all the information, the training provider questionnaire that I had printed earlier, and I have that information already in there, filled out my application on the side, and now I have all the filled out application, the signed statement of understanding, and I'm ready to submit. So right here under subject, again, you can put credential request or whatever subject you want, because this is going to automatically tell us you're going for a CA request. If you go on browse, it's going to go ahead and ask you what application. So let's pretend this was my application that I filled out. And you can go ahead and click open. And then right here, description, financial, please review for financial counselor credential. And I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Make sure that there's no PII. So once you submit this, it goes to your Servicing Education Center's help desk queue. What happened is we will go over the information. Oh, I forgot. We will go over the document that you provided, the application, as well as the statement of understanding, making sure that you have digitally signed it and that the application is completely filled out. If there is a question regarding the cost, the books, things like that, we may have to contact you either via email or by phone. And when that happens, please, just know that we're just trying to make sure that your application is completely filled out so that when it goes past us, when it goes to the CA department, it can get processed without any delay. Okay. So right here where it says case number, please write that down. Again, once it gets escalated past our Ed Center, it goes to the CA program. We don't have access to their statuses. So in order for you to check to see whether or not we've already escalated it or it's still in our queue, you'll have to have that help desk case number. When you log into Go Army Ed, right here on the website, if you scroll down where it says help desk cases, you'll notice it'll say right here, can't talk, and I spelled request wrong. It will tell you what that detail looks like. So right here, if you press on case details, it'll actually tell you whether or not the education office is working on it or it's been escalated to CA department. Any actions taken will show right here in this section. Okay, if you decided that, oops, you know what, I decided to go with a different credential and it hasn't been escalated or anything like that, you can always close the case and do a new credential request help desk ticket. Okay. If you want to add more documents, because when you submitted this, you only added the form and you forgot to add the financial course verification, you can add notes, and you can also add the documents via e-file. Okay, that's one way to go and do that. Alrighty, I believe we went through this section. Live demonstrations. So now we will go over. At this time, do we have any questions about the CA program, the Army Corps website, or the application process? Okay. Before I go, I just wanted to go ahead and share with you the 88th Readiness Division Education Office POCs. So first one is my information. Again, I am located at JBLM, which is in Washington State. I am the ESS for it, and I do have the ESA POC information here. Again, best way to contact us right now is via email. We do serve Washington, Oregon, and Idaho State. So if you have any questions regarding the CA program or the TA program, please send us an email. let us know how we can help you. If you are assigned to 88th RD East, which is at Fort Snelling, Ms. Neri, who is in this webinar, is covering right now for the Fort Snelling Education Office. They do have 2 ESA and a test examiner there. Maria Thomas and Lauren Freed is their ESA, and Carla is their TE. So if you have any questions, again, they are also teleworking, so please send them an email if you have any questions. They serve Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio states. Okay. If you are assigned to Fort Douglas in Salt Lake City, it is Miss Neri is your ESS, and we have Stacy and Paul as her ESA, and Paul as the test examiner. They do serve Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming. I did not fix that yet. Montana, North and South Dakota. So yes, I will fix that later, but it is Wyoming. Wichita, right now I am covering Wichita at Center. So if you have any questions, you can either email myself, Janice, or Patrick. And they do serve Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri. And last but not least is Fort McCoy. If you're assigned to Fort McCoy, your ESS is Connie Schauer. She does have Lawrence, Mary, and Daryl. I believe Mr. Quimby is no longer there. I have to verify that information and update the slide. So, however, you do have the other POCs here. They do serve units that are assigned to MedCom, IMA, and AAD worldwide, and then UAU. Okay. Alrighty, so that is the end of the presentation. If you have any question, please let me know. I'll hang back. I'll pause, or I'll go ahead and close out the recording. That way, I didn't do that last time. That way it's not too long for people to review. If you have any questions about the CA program, please let me know. I'll hang back and answer it. If not, this concludes the webinar for the CA program. This has been recorded and it will be available via the MS Teams group that we have here, and it could be shared and accessed for soldiers to review later on.